the globe, it's now almost morning, right? You know it, and we have to appreciate that. But wherever you're listening from, wherever you're watching from, thanks for joining us on Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast. I am Dr. Canute White. Relationship is a very important thing. As I always say, we born, we go to school, we have relationships, and then we die. It's important for us to understand the intricacies in relationship, and there are relationship coaches who can assist us as we go through the journey of relationship. There are a number of buzzwords. I am finished. Is the relationship something that you can actually finish? This cannot work? Is relationship workable? Is there workability as it relates to relationship? I am done. Is relationship doneable? I cannot do this. Is relationship something we do or we experience? My guest will talk to us about a number of things and why is it so hard to have a relationship. Many persons, you may wonder very often, why is it so difficult? You move from one relationship to another, and it can get challenging. And repetitive relationship syndrome is what we call in psychology that episode of you going into the same type of partner over and over and over again, and it gets really sticky. So I'm gonna let my guest in, and he's gonna help us to shuffle some of these papers and to get our understanding, create some clarity as it relates to relationship and the difficulties of relationship. I let my guest in. I let my guest in. Andre, you heard me, right? Relationship.
I heard you. That's my whole world.
Yeah, yeah. But before I go into all of that, the meat of the matter, I want to find out from you. We want to find out from you. Who are you? Who is Andre?
Good question. So my name is Andre Paradis. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm a relationship coach. I'm an NLP coach, neuro linguistic programming. So this the science that I use to remove the baggage of our past, right?
Mhm.
I'm an educator of effective communication strategies.
Right.
That sounds good, huh? But how do you communicate? Communication is with the one of the biggest challenge
Hmm.
with everyone in all relationships.
Right. Mhm.
All relationships, work relationships, parents relationships, child love relationships. Obviously, I'm also a workshop leader. I'm a public speaker, a
Mhm.
two-time Amazon #1 bestseller, and my favorite. Are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm also an ordained minister. So not only do I help people in
Oh,
their relationships,
great.
but I marry some of my clients. I marry them myself. I just came back from Texas six
Uh-huh.
weeks ago. I married a couple that I work with, and I just met them literally at their wedding, and I married
Yeah.
them. And 6 weeks prior to this, I was in Las Vegas doing the same thing. So
Right.
I'm having a really good time with all this.
Yeah.
It's really,
Interesting.
really
Interesting.
satisfying.
I, I,
Very
I
satisfying.
love that. I love that about you.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, I realize you wear many caps, right? And it's interesting that people understand, and therefore it's fitting, right? You're fitting, you're suitable to talk about relationship. And we're going into that. But I have a question to ask you. I
Yes.
ask all of my all of my guests this. Your childhood. Um, Andre at 5, if you remember that far, Andre at 10, talk to us about your childhood, Andre.
Oh, you gotta go there, aren't you? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. No, it's funny because I'm a direct product of my childhood, as we all are, but mine was very, very clear.
Mhm.
And so, as you talk about at 5, it's funny. At 5 years old is when I had the revelation when my brain could catch up with my feelings
Okay.
as a little kid, right? Because it takes
Yeah.
a while for your brain to catch up to your experience and what you see around you.
Right, right.
I was exactly 5 when these two came together, and I realized that I was born in the wrong family,
Oh,
that these people were not my people, that I don't belong here. They don't like me. I can't fit into them. We can't
yeah.
so it's a very weird, strange, scary, actually very scary. I have five siblings. I'm number four, and I don't belong here. I just
Uh,
don't belong here. So I could tell you where I was sitting in the stairs the moment I could explain, I could describe the wallpaper, the carpet, like
yeah.
it was just like a terrible, huge moment.
Yeah.
And I realized I was on my own. So what
Mhm.
happened at that moment, I ended up being um, my radar, let's put it this way, my radar kind of turned out, and I
Yeah.
started watching the world and watching people, trying to
Yeah.
understand how is that even possible? You know what I mean? Like, how
Right.
is it possible? So I literally became I was a quiet kid who's watching everyone,
Hmm.
just trying to make sense of how is this possible? How can it be
Yeah.
in the wrong family? Like, where did it go wrong?
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of my work. Honestly, I was the kid in school who was like kind of quiet in the corner, kind of didn't fit in, but I was watching everyone. And I was
Yeah.
watching everyone, and watching everyone. I always had one friend, so I wasn't
Hmm.
completely a weirdo. But
Hmm.
that was sort of my whole like coming to my
Yeah.
reality was watching everyone, and actually I became fascinated with the human condition. Why does one person turn out like this and this person turn out like this?
Yeah.
How is one person successful, the other one just a complete mess up? You know what I mean?
Right.
They screw everything up. Why, how? So I'm very curious
Yeah.
by nature, and that became literally the beginning of the base of my work.
Yeah,
So
I like when you say that, because if you believe in that in your family, I just didn't belong. I didn't belong with these people, and it's about relationship, mother,
yeah,
father, siblings, and if you now start to talk about relationship, teach people how to communicate, become a relationship coach. I would want to think that your family situation then would have drive you to do that. To
absolutely.
do,
So what followed up was interesting because like I said, fascinated with human condition, watching
yeah.
people, studying people. Under psychology became my thing.
Okay,
Reading
cool.
about psychology, human psychology, like you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
like reading all the books. I started taking workshops when I was 23 years old, personal development workshops, because I want
Hmm.
to. It was hard for me. I struggle the whole way because when your
Yeah.
parents don't want you, right? Like, how do you go in life and bounce and
Yeah.
produce when you're wondering why you're here, right? So it was a
Yeah.
difficult time, but I would fight. I fought for it. Let's put it this way: I
Yeah.
fought for it. I fought for it.
Yeah.
I would
Mhm.
take anything to get me to make sense of my life and get myself on track, so I could be productive.
Yeah.
I could be something, and maybe get to smile once in a while, be
Oh
happy
yeah.
in life. And
Yeah.
so that became my push. Because as much as this is going to sound terrible, but I remember thinking I'm not going to be here very long. I'm not going to be
Okay.
here long. It didn't
Yeah.
make sense. It was too
Yeah.
much pain, and I didn't see the point.
Yeah.
However, every time I felt like I can't take it anymore,
Yeah.
there was something in my gut, there's something in like
Yeah.
right in the middle of my chest that would keep pulling. I would go, no,
Yeah.
no, no. There's something big for you to do. There's
Yeah.
something like this is like at 10 years old, 12
Yeah.
years old, 15 years old, just when I really wanted to give up. It's like, no, there's something for you to do here. There's something important for you
Yeah.
to do. So
I love
that
that.
always kept me, and that's the thing that kept me
Mm.
like, okay, fine, then let's go. Let's find, let's figure this out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was my life
Yeah.
until I ended up literally, because curiosity is really what helped me all the way through. I would, like I said, always take workshops and trying to dig and
Yeah.
how to make money, how to get over yourself, how do you get over your
Yeah.
trauma, how do you get, I mean,
Yeah. No,
you
right.
name it. I was a workshop head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in at one point, 2006, I was
Mhm.
in a workshop that I had a car business in between. And I had a car business that I took as far as I could with my knowledge. So
Yeah.
I go to a business workshop and a development workshop to like raise the roof on my business.
Yeah.
That was in San Jose, which is not Northern California, 2006.
Right. Mhm.
I'm with 300 people for 4 days in this workshop about
Right.
building wealth. And anyway, so on the flight back to Los Angeles, I'm sitting in the same row with a couple that I met at the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was kind of random and cool, right? So we're sitting together, and now I believe nothing is random.
Tell you
at,
right.
at the time, I still thought life was random. Oh Lord. Anyway, so the woman says to me at one point in the flight, she's like, "So what are you doing this weekend?"
Okay.
I'm like, I'm off this weekend. Why?" She goes, "You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." And I go, "Absolutely, of course."
Uh-huh.
And then I go, "Wait, what's the workshop?" Because I'm like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she says, "It's called Understanding Women."
Hey. So you see your experience.
Well, so I'm like, okay, like so, and I have so seriously, my first reflex was, "What are you going to teach me about girls?" Like, because I'm my personality, my artistic style, I will say, like
Yeah.
like I always attracted sweet women. I never did the crazy shit that my friends did. I didn't, not, you know what I mean? That, it was work. It was always easy for me. I was married by
Right.
then. I have two little kids, a little like 3 or 4 year old and a toddler. My
Yeah.
wife is my baby. Like I don't need this. I don't want this. I'm not like I got this right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why without any arrogance, I thought like shoot, like I'm just gonna spend a weekend in the workshop understanding women. Like just I
Wow.
wish I would have asked first, but I
But
didn't.
but
Right?
but
And
you know that it's difficult to understand women.
that well, yeah, like for me, I didn't. I guess I because I was in because I didn't have much trouble with the
Yeah.
ladies. I just thought that I knew something. Even
Right.
though
Right.
if you'd asked me was it that you know, I'm like I don't know. I just I know how to be nice to them. I guess like I couldn't anyway. So my point is
Yeah.
I go to the workshop on the weekend. That weekend, it's like by the airport in the big airport hotel, of course. And I'm like, I should be in my bed, but whatever. So I said I was gonna go, so I went because I'm that guy, and thinking it was gonna be cute or something. And I walked in the workshop in the
Yeah.
room, and there was 400 people in there. And
Okay.
I'm thinking, wait, there's something going on here. Like this is not gonna be cute. Like there's something going on here. Like I could feel it in the air. So I sat down like a good boy, and the teacher came on stage and started teaching, and all I can tell you is I slipped out of my chair 7
Mm.
times during the workshop. I slipped out of my chair, like falling
Yeah.
out of my chair with like, how is this possible? That's no way this is how it works for them. Like I realized, I mean, seriously, dead serious. The guy who knows women, so that's what I thought. I realized I knew nothing, zero about women, absolutely nothing. Like
Oh.
it was crazy. Like not even a little bit. I knew nothing. But what scared me, the part that lit the fire, is that I realized if I know nothing about women, I also know nothing about my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now, like I said, I have like 2 kids. They're little. We're
Yeah.
doing fine. I'm not looking for this stuff, but like I realize how she thinks, how she functions, how she takes
Yeah.
things personally, why she takes things personally. All of a sudden, I'm putting the pieces together of whoa. And then one of the biggest thing that I think the first time I slipped off my chair was the get this. This is terrible. I think, but
Yeah.
this scared the life out of me. Is that when we hurt women's feelings,
Hmm.
because we hurt their feelings all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
We don't mean to. We don't know how we hurt their feelings often. Like I don't understand why this hurts your feelings. That's not what I did. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant.
Right.
How did you get there? Right? Like what? Like no, that's not. That's but her feelings are hurt, right? So
Right. Hmm.
well, get this. Well, not only oh, that was a terrible day. Not only what happens to them is it's so obvious to them
Yeah.
that what I said or what I didn't say or what I did or what I didn't do is
Right.
hurtful. It's so obvious to a woman because her and every woman in the space,
Yeah.
are reacting the same way. Like, oh, what a
Oh.
jerk, right? What a dick. That's your husband,
Yeah.
right? So she's got so to them it is so obvious
Mm.
what I said, didn't say, didn't do. That's
Yeah.
hurtful. That they think. Are you ready? This
Yeah.
made me fall off my chair. They think that we know what we're doing when we hurt their feelings, which also must means that we're doing it on purpose because it's
Oh.
obvious. If you know what
Yeah.
you're doing, then you do it on purpose.
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
Well, that freaked me out because think about this, right? How much as a woman, any woman, how much of that can she take if she really believes that you and I, as their companion, their husbands, their
Yeah.
boyfriend, whatever,
Uh-huh.
when we heard their feelings, that they know that we know what we're doing, so we're doing it on purpose. How long of
Yeah.
that shit can you take?
Yeah. Yeah.
What, 10 years, 15 years, right? Like because they're patient and they keep thinking we're going to change, but
Yeah.
we don't know what hurts their feelings. And again, like I said, every time we do it, they think we know what we're doing, and then
Right.
we mean
So,
to.
so
So
can
that
we do
freak
the same thing over and over again? Because
was
as
that
men, even if when we hurt their feelings and we don't know, so they were like, "Oh, honey, you hurt. I'm upset. You did this," and you're like, "What did I do?"
right,
Right?
right.
Or whatever. But we might do it again, the same thing again.
That's what I'm saying. So because we don't know what
Yeah.
we're doing, Like
Yeah.
we don't understand the mechanism,
Yeah.
understand
Yeah. That's
the
why.
trigger.
Yeah.
The same way, by the way, right? So we hurt their feelings all the time, and you know this. On the flip
Yeah.
side, something that we can't describe, they disrespect us all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So these are two injuries that we keep throwing at each other, not
Right.
knowing, because they don't mean to disrespect us. They don't know what is the words of disrespect. They don't know what
Yeah.
they say is disrespectful because they don't. It wouldn't disrespect them, right? There's something that they don't recognize as disrespect because they don't
Right.
have that mechanism. So they'll say stuff like, "What's wrong with you? I was just trying to help," and like, don't
Right.
even, right?
Yeah.
So we both do it to each other. We both don't know we do it to each other. But my point is, like, for me, when I discovered this layers and this 7 layers, and then there's more that I
Yeah.
know nothing about my wife, that I don't know how I'm destroying her without knowing because I'm a dude, right?
Yeah.
To me, that was very dangerous. Like my all my brothers and sister are married and divorced 2, 3, 4 times, like all of them.
Right. Okay.
I have my angel, I have my baby girl, I have my wife, like I have
Mhm.
the love of my life,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like I'm not going to be a statistic because I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
That was obscene to me, right? And my
Yeah.
brain just went nuts, and that's how the business started. This is when I jumped in to become a coach, an LP coach, and
Yeah.
the
Andre.
research I studied.
Andre.
Yeah,
I have a question for you.
yes,
This
please.
term control, controlling. You are a
Control.
relationship coach.
Yes.
Is it that men and women define control differently?
Well, control in itself
Mhm.
is masculine.
Yeah.
So if you're a masculine man, you will naturally control things, your environment, your life, your business. You'll
Mhm.
control your circumstances. That is to be masculine.
Yeah.
If you're going to put it in a nutshell, to be masculine is to conquer, compete, control everything around
Mhm.
you.
Right.
That's masculine,
Mhm.
right? To be feminine is to be passive, patient, and vulnerable to the
Right.
masculine. Like passive, not like a doormat, but passive to his leadership. That's
Yeah.
the relationship. But patient,
Mhm.
women naturally have a lot more patience to raise the children and not kill us,
Right.
right? And vulnerability is the feminine's equal to the control for masculine. So
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
women are masculine, because we all raise them to be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
strong, independent, and powerful, right? That's
Right.
masculine, masculine, masculine. So they compete, conquer, and control like
Mhm.
we do.
Yeah.
When that masculine energy comes at the masculine energy to controlling, we have a big bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is
Hey.
where relationships struggle.
Yeah.
Control is masculine power, and if you
Right.
both do it to each other, you will collide, and there'll
Yeah.
be a bomb. There'll be a bomb. That's all.
Many persons believe that relationship is hard. It's hard work. It's too much.
Well,
Why is that so? Talk to me about that.
well, because we lost. Everything I teach, and I say this over and over. Everything I teach is not my opinion.
Hmm.
Everything I teach is the backup research with 5 masters that I stand on the shoulder at which I stand on that taught me all this
Yeah.
stuff, plus my own work and my own research.
Right.
I have an opinion about stuff, but it's not my opinion. I'm not teaching you what you should do because I think so, right?
Right.
What I teach is nature and science
Hmm.
combined with psychology, biology, and communication.
Right.
So it's all the tools and the nature, the natural flow of things. So
Yeah.
in nature, nowhere is the masculine acts like the feminine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowhere in any species. That's
Hmm.
because we need the polarity, masculine and feminine, yin yang,
Yeah.
positive, negative magnets. We need the polarity to actually create anything that flourishes, that grows, that multiplies is polarized.
Right. Hmm.
Period. That's nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in our culture, we think we're better than nature. Ha! That's the joke. And then we decided to raise women like men, strong, independent,
Yeah.
powerful. We used to raise boys that way.
Yeah.
Make something of yourself,
Yeah.
right? Strong, independent, powerful, so you could take care of your family and then get some respect from people, men and
Yeah.
women. But
Yeah.
now we raise women masculine to be strong, independent, powerful. Don't need no man on
Yeah.
top of it, and we shame men out of being masculine. So the men have to be now sweet, sensitive, vulnerable, like girls. Like girl. So what happened is we flipped the script, thinking that was going to even out the playing field. That sounds
Right.
good on paper, like that's a
Mhm.
good idea, like you know yeah, on paper, except
Yeah.
again, when you're going against nature and you flip the roles, when you make women masculine and men feminine,
But
it's a
I'm
giant
going to put you
collision.
on the spot here because we want to teach our daughters to be independent, right? so that when they go out there, they will not depend on men, but
Sure.
will have their own paycheck and you know, you know, do their own thing. Are you thinking? Are you saying that that is independence of women?
Wait, you have to say that again because you
All
froze for a
right,
second.
the independence of women, because you mentioned something about how we grow our girls.
Yeah,
It's now considered to be masculine.
right.
But most of us now want to give our girls, empower our girls to be independent, to to be assertive.
Okay. These are
Is
all
that masculinity?
those are masculine traits. Absolutely.
Okay,
Independence, assertive, lean
right.
in,
Mhm.
take the leadership, push, fight, conquer,
But
penetrate.
women
That's all
don't want to be
masculine.
dependent, Andre.
What's
Women
that?
don't want to be. Women do not want to be dependent. Many women are going out now, working, supporting themselves, even though a man is in there.
I say this not about being independent, it's being
Yeah,
interdependent.
yeah. Oh, okay. I hear you.
Interdependent, right? So
Yeah,
independence is masculine. Men are independent. Men do whatever the hell they
yeah,
want. So when you put masculine on masculine, it doesn't work.
yeah,
So what works for women is interdependency,
yeah,
working together in a system, me and you
yeah,
together, interdependency. Doesn't mean she doesn't make money, does she make her own life, but she doesn't if she's too masculine, she will actually disrespect his own masculinity. It's
yeah.
man on man; those don't work. This is the work that I do every day. Like
Mhm,
this,
mhm.
I help recalibrate this dynamic because if you're masculine, most masculine, all my clients are like strong, independent, powerful women who make a ton of money.
Right.
They kill it in the workforce. They boss babes, go girl, badass, and they have no relationships.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you take the money lane like a man, for women, the love lane doesn't work. It's impossible. So
yeah,
there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot in the middle. There's a place where, like my wife, for example,
yeah.
my wife has a perfect balance in her life. She's a
Right.
ballerina. She's a dancer. That's how we met because I was also a
Okay.
dancer.
Hmm,
Right.
hmm.
So she's a ballerina. You think
Yeah,
ballerinas are lazy? You think it's easy being a ballerina? Talk about conquering your body, right? And
yeah.
getting strong,
Hmm, hmm.
right? So but my wife also took that career with a in the beginning she was a prima ballerina with two different ballet companies. That's a
Okay.
ton of work, but
Yeah.
that was not satisfying enough for her. She wanted to be in love, she wanted to have a family, and she wanted to have kids.
Right.
So she didn't quit being a ballerina. She stayed a ballerina, but she adjusted where
Yeah.
she managed to bring herself into working in two different colleges close locally.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
instead of performing, and she still performs, but like, not like she used to as a businesswoman, making living being a dancer. Like she pulled back, started
Yeah.
teaching. So she teaches part-time in two colleges locally, and with all the
Okay.
benefits, she makes the salary of a full-time job working
Hmm.
part-time.
Yeah.
So she works part-time, lives her dreams. She's still dancing. She's mentoring these dancers, coming up dancers, right? It's very
Yeah.
nurturing. Her job makes her come to life,
Cool.
but
Right.
it's not 60 hours a week. You understand?
Yeah.
It's about 20 hours a week, if that, 15 maybe. The rest of the time, the space in her life, she got to be a wife, and she get to be a mom, right?
Yeah.
And she got to pick up the kids at school at 3 o'clock and make them lunch and nurture them. And one of my favorite things to do while I was working 12-hour days, by the way,
Yeah.
right? So she's still contributing to the world in her way,
Yeah.
but she's for her to have everything, she had to calibrate that,
Right.
right? To be a
Right.
mother, to be a wife, and
Hmm.
to do her life's passion in pieces, and
Yeah.
ultimately that's the balance. So one of my favorite things is I would work 12-hour days to support this whole system. I live in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. It's not cheap,
Hmm. I know
right?
that.
But I
Yeah.
would leave the house at 7 a.m. to go to my business that I built, and I would
Yeah.
literally roll up at 7 o'clock at night in my garage. And
Right.
in the summertime, when it's light till 9 o'clock at night, one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite, one of the most joyful moments that I have memories when the kids were little is I would pull up in the garage. When I turn off
Yeah.
my car, I'd open the door and I could hear them splash in the pool. So mom and dad, no, my mom and the kids are in the pool. They got home at 3 o'clock. They did their homework. They had a sandwich, and now
Right.
they're playing in the pool. And I'm the one who's providing this lifestyle. That gives me a huge amount of pride as a male, and I don't mind killing myself for that, right? I live for that. It makes me feel like competent. It makes me feel like I won. You know what I mean? I created this for them along with her, but with her, I couldn't do it the same way.
Mhm.
Without her, I couldn't do the same way. Do you know what I mean? If I had to pick up my kids at school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I wouldn't be able to make the money that I was making
Yeah.
able for her to help me in the system, right? That's the dance.
Right.
That's
Yeah, that's
that magic.
important.
So working 60, 70 hours a week for women, what happens is they have no space for relationship. They have no energy to date. They're tired. They go home, they eat, they crash because they have to get up at 6 doing. So women encouraged to live like men and thinking that later on in life, when they're, safe financially, that they have the career
Mhm.
that they're going to look for man is where it typically doesn't work. Because
Right.
by the time women get to 35 plus and they go, oh my God, like I'm really tired of working and, I'm lonely and I want to slow
Yeah.
it down. Right. But what happened is at 35, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
The men who wanted to be married are already married.
Yeah.
The men who were leftovers that didn't marry are a little bit off,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
ones who the other ones are the divorced one who's just got married, lost their shit, and now don't want to do it again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the availability of what's possible is out the window, and now we have a problem, right? So,
Yeah.
like, there's a way to have it all, is what I'm saying. If you want children, by the way, in a family, a
Yeah.
companionship, and a man and a husband, is to do it the other way, not the way the culture is leaning in, right? There's a
Right.
way to do both. But if you go into money lane until you feel you're safe and you don't need no man
Mhm.
to produce, to keep you safe, to do life with you, on the other side of that is very complicated because you got yourself trapped in a corner and what's possible, what your sexual market value
Right.
is down by 30%, 30%, like,
Yes.
70%, and what's left over, you see what I'm saying? So that is not working.
Intimacy. Intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understand the concept of intimacy, but
Yep.
equality, how does that kills intimacy? Equality should keep intimacy alive.
No, but it doesn't.
Okay.
It just doesn't. Now, like I said, it sounds good on paper. It should be fair,
Mhm.
but it doesn't work because when you go, when you go 50-50,
Yeah.
right? If
Mhm.
you go, if you both work, right, which is everybody's got to work. But my point is, if you both bring the same energy, eventually you neutralize each other. Intimacy
Okay.
requires polarity again.
Right.
Intimacy is masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
The more masculine the man is and the more feminine the woman is, the more those two magnets go snap, right?
Okay.
So like you need the polarity, you need the feminine to attract the masculine and vice versa. So when we equalize everything, 50-50 everything, you neutralize the polarity and there's all of a sudden there's nothing happening, right? It kills everything. I'm telling you, like, is 50-50 is great for business, for money, for building a career, for going to work with men. That's fine. Bring that home, it kills everything.
One of my clients asked me a question
Yep.
recently. She's getting married
Yep.
and to an older man, right?
Yep.
Perhaps
Mhm.
about 10 years or senior. But he has a child, only child, in his 40s. He wants to leave the house to that child, but she
Right.
has a challenge with that. I'm putting this scenario to you as a relationship coach.
Yes.
Would that be an ideal thing for the man to do? And what would be the implications
Well,
in that case?
it's interesting because, man, natural males, right? The more masculine, the more that's sort of present, have
Mhm,
a huge sense of honor and loyalty naturally. Honor and loyalty is built in. We just have that. So his loyalty as a man who was married, divorced,
mhm,
is going to go to his children first.
mhm,
The woman, even his wife, on the other side of divorce, is not as important as his children. So his loyalty goes to his responsibility as a male and a father to
right.
make a better future for his children.
Mhm,
So the new wife comes in and she's like, "Well, I get to pick up everything
mhm,
because I'm the wife, right? So I get in line with the kids." And a lot of men are going, "No,
mhm, mhm.
like my loyalty goes to my children." And now often there's a mixing of both.
Right.
There's both, everybody's going to get taken care of on the other side of that. But I know a lot of women have a problem with,
Yeah.
sharing the second half of their life and his goodies with
Yeah.
the previous family. But that is that is a sticky situation because his kids will come first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you make him choose me or the kids, as far as honor and loyalty and where his duty lands, if he's a man at all,
Right.
don't make him choose because you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she was thinking that the stepson is older in his 40s, so he should have been
That means
second already.
that, that means nothing, right? That means nothing.
Okay.
He could be 45 years old. I mean, it's called
Okay.
heritage. He's leaving a legacy,
Hmm.
and helping his child build
Yeah.
his life. So his legacy is what he's leaving behind: the child, the DNA, right, and an
Yeah.
offspring, but also how money to help the child, right? That's
Right.
what men do, right?
Yeah.
There's like I said, there's honor
Yeah.
and there's loyalty in that. That's his job.
Right.
So the new girl may think that she deserves that,
Yeah.
and I think she'll, though, like I said, it's a conversation. But
Right.
the thing that she comes first is
Mhm.
quite odd to me.
Yeah.
It's not understanding man at all, and
Yeah.
loyalty and
Right.
honor.
Right.
Seriously,
Right. Right. Yeah.
so I'm just
Thanks
saying.
for that. You're listening to Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast. I'm talking to Andre, the relationship coach, and he has a lot to say. And we tend to continue this conversation. And as we continue this conversation, Andre, I just love to ask you, um, what makes a man committed to his one and only? We have this saying, one burner. You know, I suspect you might have heard about that saying, one burner. I don't have anybody else. I'm committed. I'm a one burner.
All right, so that's a long one to answer because there's many layers here. So
Yeah.
if I let me see if I can nutshell it for you. Ultimately, what a man needs most from his woman is that she believes in him and has his back.
Hmm.
If my wife believes in what I'm up to, right? You've heard successful men say this all the time, and that's basically the same thing I'm saying now. Is the expression is behind every great man is a fantastic woman.
Right.
And these men will say, I could never be this man without my wife,
Right.
right? I could tell you this, I would not be this man without my wife,
Hmm.
because we're plagued with what I call our self-doubt, right? We want to be powerful, we want to be big, we want to produce, we want to leave a legacy, we want all these things, but we don't know really that we can do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
When a woman believes in us, you got this, babe, you're amazing, you'll make it work, I've seen you do it, right? When a
Yeah.
woman can blow wind in my sail, my self doubt dissipates, and then I go kill it out there. So a
Hmm.
woman's believing in her man gives him the jet fuel to go out in the world and kill it in a way that he wouldn't even do it for himself.
Yeah.
If she believes in him, he can't doubt himself, and he goes. And that's the formula. So when a woman shows up like this for a man, as opposed to let's see what he can do for me,
Hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
like Louis, get behind him. What is the guy has to have a purpose. He has to have a goal. He has to have a big dream, something to
Hmm.
conquer that is big, whether it's
Yeah.
financial or save the planet, whatever it is, right? If you get behind him, you become the unicorn, the woman who gets him, the woman who supports him in his effort, the woman who understands, his heart and where he's going with his life, and help him succeed. And with that, he will support the hell out of you. He'll
Yeah.
want you to
Right.
stay comfortable. He'll put you up. Like, he will spend all the money that he's making because of you on you, right?
Yeah.
That's the nature of things. That's the yin yang of it. So
Hmm.
what makes a man commit to a woman is a woman who gets him and supports his effort and helps him when he doubts himself.
Yeah.
And this woman, because it's getting hard in culture nowadays to find a woman like this, because they don't want to be wives, they don't want to
Hmm.
be girl, they don't want to be mothers, they want to be
Right.
boss babes.
Hmm.
If you want to be a boss babe, that formula is dissipated, and men will play with you, men will date you, and men will not commit to you because they're waiting to find a woman who believes in him and literally just like help him accomplish his life's dream. So
Right.
if you could do that for a man, you're the unicorn in the crowd, and he
Yeah.
will get on one knee because in his mind, you're the only woman who gets him.
Yeah.
and that eliminates all competition for the other
Right.
women. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how blonde you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how short. Like that all goes away. It's the character of the woman who brings him to his dream
Right.
that makes him commit. That's
We
it.
talk about equality, before earlier on, and we look at it and it relates to killing intimacy,
Yep.
right? But this thing about women keeping men from caring, providing, and so on, that doesn't sound logical. So talk to us about that.
But I'm not.
How women prevent men from doing this?
I don't understand the question. Say
How
that
women
again.
prevent men from caring, providing, and protecting?
Right. So men provide, protect, cherish, and give to women
Right.
naturally. Right. So that's the nature of men.
Mhm.
Provide, protect, cherish, and give women.
Right. Right.
That's nature again.
Hmm.
But if a woman can provide, protect, give to herself, and decides that she won't let a man help her, the formula goes flat.
Okay.
So men will feel out of place. So basically, get this very simple. Again, back to nature. If a man doesn't feel that he has a purpose, that he's not needed
Okay.
anywhere, he goes and finds somebody who will need him.
Okay.
This is how driven we are with this.
Mhm.
So if women walk around and go, I don't need no man, I'm independent, I have my own money, like I don't need him, men will go, okay,
Yeah.
see you later.
Yeah.
I'll find myself a woman who needs me because that's what gives us a sense of purpose in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Provide, protect, cherish, and give is instinctual for us,
Yeah.
masculine men. The
Yeah.
feminine one don't do that, not so much, but
Yeah.
the masculine men naturally do this. No manipulation needed. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So if women show up like men, it disrespects my own masculinity, my own providing, want to provide. She can do it
Yeah.
for herself. Okay,
So
well, you don't need me. Okay,
right.
next.
So you made a point about independence,
Yep.
right? The independent woman would perhaps there might be a challenge, and you basically clarify that point by saying what you just said, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
in psychology, I'm in psychology. In
Yep.
psychology, we consider the challenge that men, especially men who are unemployed, men who are in the house and lose the authority in the house, and the woman start to provide, as you're saying, perhaps be the so-called protector. So the man move out and find another family, find another home because he's no longer respected in the home. He has lost the authority because he's unemployed. He's not able to provide for his family. So I
Mm.
got what you're saying.
So, for me, by the way, um that is not typical male.
Okay.
Like you know this, I know this.
Hmm.
My son is 22 years old and instinctively knows this. If he loses his job, you know what he does? He goes gets
Yeah.
another job.
Yeah.
He loses his job. The next thing, his new job is to find a job. That's what
Yeah.
he does. He gets up and goes find another job because he needs to provide and protect and take care
Right.
of his girlfriend.
Hmm.
He knows this, and that's on him.
Right.
But if he sits on the couch, he goes, "Yeah, I can't find a job," and he becomes a passive, and then
Yeah.
woman has to step out and work to put her in a
Hmm.
masculine.
Yeah.
She will lose respect for him,
That's the
and if
thing.
a
Yeah.
woman
Hmm.
if a woman loses respect for you, you're done, dude. You're out of there.
Yeah.
So, because no woman wants to be responsible and paying everything for a man. That's
Right.
unnatural.
Yeah.
They could do it. They could do it. But if you flip the script and decide to become a loser, in my
Yeah.
world, that's called a boy, not a man.
Right.
They don't want to
Yeah.
work, and
Yeah.
they're always struggling with work. They're always struggling with keeping work. That's why they're
Yeah.
unstable emotionally and financially.
Yeah.
And women who get stuck with these guys end up doing everything, and that
Yeah.
makes them resentful. But that's not a typical male. That's a
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
That's a
And
broken male.
that is what psychology is saying, just as you have said. So
Yep.
that is why the man eventually leave the home. It's a psychological concept.
She'll
Yeah.
push him out. She
Yeah.
won't be able to
She
stand
pushed
him.
out.
She
Yeah.
won't be able to stand him. She can lose respect for him. He has to go.
Yeah. So he,
And
he, he is pushed out because of that. He lose the authority within the home.
he
And,
lost
and then, yeah.
respect. She
Yeah. He
lost her
lost
respect.
another thing because he's not able to provide. And
He's not able to, do what a man does for his family: provide, protect, cherish, give. He
yeah.
stops doing that. She has to do it. She loses respect for the man,
Yeah. And he's
and
pushed out.
it's over. And then see if he stays in that mode. Usually they're born that way. They're made that way in childhood. They don't really want to work. They don't really want to take responsibility. They don't want to take care of anybody. They don't want to pay.
Yeah.
So they find a woman who's able and capable. They're everywhere nowadays.
Oh
Eventually,
yeah.
she throws them
We have
out.
trust me on that.
Yeah. And
Women
so,
are
so
independent.
yeah, and then finally, whether she's married and with him and has two kids, she will throw him out, sooner or
Most men
later.
want to live alone. I would want to think. I'm
Well,
not sure if you've seen that.
young men want to live alone. Older men do not.
Yeah. And most
Younger
women want to live alone. Now you've seen that in your practice.
older women want to be alone, leave
Okay.
alone. Young women do not. So there's a whole
Okay.
cycle of
Mm.
aging in there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Pre menopause and pre-andropause for men and women.
yeah.
There's two
Andropause,
different
andropause,
chemical
yeah.
bodies.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of menopause, women are much stronger, more masculine naturally, more independent because they
Yeah,
lose all the estrogen, so they're more testosterone and they
yeah,
to the
yeah,
point direct, right? So that's nature again. On the
yeah.
other side of andropause, men lose a big portion of their testosterone, so they become gentler and softer, and they don't want to be left alone. They want the companionship, they want to chill, they want to relax, they want a
Yeah.
girl.
Mhm.
Nature.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
agree. Yeah,
there's an age cycle there.
yeah, your book.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your book.
I have
Your
two
book.
books, but my two books are collaboration books. We call them.
Okay.
It's basically a compilation of many authors that share
Oh,
their life stories. So basically, the
I love.
compilation of stories of people who had terrible beginnings,
Yeah.
as I. We all. It's interesting. A lot. Most people, my experience so far,
Hmm.
that most people who do some really big things in life all seem to come from terrible beginnings.
Yeah.
Look at Oprah Winfrey, right? I mean, like just like this woman should be dead. You know what I mean? For where she lived as a child, like she's like it's a horrible story, and she went out to conquer the world, right? So a lot of people who conquer the world, business world, financial world, their
Yeah.
own legacy, whatever, so come from a bunch of terrible life experiences as children. So that both these books are a compilation of stories of people that succeeded in life and how they started and how they climbed their way out of and
Yeah.
became successful. So it's a very inspirational book.
Yeah.
A bunch of different stories of men and women and of all kinds of businesses around,
Yeah.
that basically just conquer themselves. So it's very inspirational.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yours truly had gone through adversities in childhood as well. My book on Amazon, Soaring Through Turmoil, speaks to that. So yes, you're right. Many persons who have, who are doing well and have conquered their own circle. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they have gone through.
Now, lined up with my material, my work, I have
Mm.
a book. It's a 30-page book. It's a workbook on my website
Yeah.
called "The Five Irresistible Qualities High Value Men Find Irresistible in Women."
Okay.
So it's on my website. So if you go to projectequinox.net,
Yeah.
you could just click and purchase it, and it goes in as a you could have as a book and or just a PDF
Yeah.
sent to you. I'm
Right.
working on three more as we speak. These are like kind of little gem to kind of what's the word? It's a way to get into the work that I do and
Yeah. Okay.
understand some of the things that we're talking about,
Yeah.
and kind of understand and break down the dance of the masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To me, like look behind me. We haven't talked about this, but
Yeah. Yeah.
before
Okay.
before the shop, I was a professional dancer, and
Oh yeah.
this is a
Okay.
picture of my wife and I dancing. So this is a relationship. This is has
Mhm.
no equality. This has a yin and yang. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So,
This is what I'm teaching. I teach
yeah.
what I've done my whole life is get in partnership with a woman and understand our differences, and we both bring something different that is essential to make it a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
think when I dance with my wife, I take
Mhm.
the lead, which is
Yeah.
what I like to do as a male.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
have to be sensitive and not crank her shoulder and hurt her. Right? Like I said, in a
Okay.
same in a relationship, right? I could
Yeah.
be a bully,
Yeah.
right? So there's called devoted leadership, but I
Yeah.
do in our marriage, but also
Yeah.
on the dance floor. She is not passive, right? This is the thing they sold the culture that to be feminine, to be a woman is passive. That's why
Yeah.
we go girl,
Mm.
strong, independent, and powerful is the only way to go because femininity is stupid and passive. Hell no. Femininity is the superpower of women. My wife, when she's dancing with me, is not passive. She's
Yeah.
doing everything I'm doing in high heels, backwards in a dress, and she's not soft, she's not a noodle, right?
Right.
She
Right.
has to support her
Mm.
side of the frame for me to be able to take her on an adventure. So she has to trust me. So she has
Yeah.
to be vulnerable to my leadership so I don't spin her into
Yeah.
a wall, into a table, into right. So she has to
Yeah.
let go, just to let
Right.
go of control for me to take her. About, and by the way, guess what happens? I
Mhm.
like driving, I like leading, I like being the lead in a dance.
Yeah.
She relaxes and is vulnerable and trusts that she's safe with me because I know what I'm doing and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hurt her or spin her to a wall. Guess what happened? She relaxes. She starts shining. She's
Trust.
smiling, right? And all of a sudden, no one's looking at me. They're all looking at her. This beautiful expression of feminine
Right.
radiance that is a woman. That is the gift. That is what we bring to each other. But
Yeah.
it's a dance. It's a it's a partnership. It's pilot co-pilot.
Right.
You know what I
Interesting.
mean?
Yeah,
It's
I got
it's
it. I got it.
one isn't less than the other, right? So what
Yeah.
happens in our culture, we teach everybody's going for the wheel, the plane crashes. You can't
Right.
both go for the wheel.
Are you
It
seeing,
doesn't work.
Andre? I'm not sure. Your culture, right? Are
Me?
you seeing a different? Where are you from originally?
I'm French Canadian, so I
French
speak French.
Canadian,
Yeah.
right? And the culture. You're reaching out from where now? Are you in the United States?
I'm in Los Angeles. Yes.
Right. You said that. Yeah, of
Yep.
course you said that. So look at the culture that you were raised in,
Hmm.
right? And the culture now that
Yep.
you are living in. Are you seeing are you seeing a difference in terms of um, relationship and how men and women, for that matter, deal
Absolutely.
with relationships?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is this. I want to say this,
Yeah,
and
let's talk about culture.
this is what happened. This is what
Yeah,
happened. Is that in the 50s and every all the millennia before then,
yeah.
men and women came together to survive and make babies, and that's how the
Okay.
species continue, right?
Right.
So men go to work and women make babies and take care of the house.
Yeah.
That's what women are made for, make babies, right? That's
Right.
their bodies is to make life.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
and men get out there and provide and protect, in
Yeah.
order for it to be protected and
Right.
fed,
Hmm.
and he has to prove himself that he can take care of a woman so he can take
Yeah.
care of her offsprings,
Hmm.
right? It's a win-win.
Yeah.
But in the 60s, when with the women liberation, like they were
Yeah.
tortured,
Right.
that women wanted choices other than being mothers and housewives. Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
right? So they step into the workforce to get some power, independence. Okay, that's fine. And then they've proven since then women can do absolutely everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Definitely.
it's
I
done.
agree with that.
It's done. It's done. It's proven. You're badass. You go,
Yeah.
girl. You're amazing. Okay,
Mhm.
fantastic. But get this. So what happened is, and I've seen this happen, the big shift the past 10 years and really hardcore the
Yeah.
past 5 years. I've seen this coming in my business and what's all coming at me, like the issues, the problems. Get this.
Right.
So women have all the options nowadays. You can do whatever you want, right? And we encourage that. Okay, that's good, right? But get this, man never had a different option.
Right. Mhm.
We still expected to provide, protect, cherish, make money, make
Yeah.
something yourself, right? Otherwise, you're a loser.
Yeah.
If the guy who's 30 years old living in his mother's basement playing video game, who's going to respect that guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No one. Who's going to sleep with that guy? No one,
Yeah.
right? This
Mhm.
so man, in order to be man, to gain
Mhm.
self-respect, to be respected by both men and women, have to go out in the world and prove
Yeah.
something,
Mhm.
build something, conquer something, fight
Yeah.
for something,
Yeah.
discipline yourself, push through your fears,
Mhm.
and make something out of yourself. And those are the men who
Yeah.
want families, want wives, want kids, right? They build their kingdom and put their arms around everybody they care for, and
Yeah.
that's what men do.
Yeah.
Now,
Definitely.
this has not changed. We still
Mhm.
expect men to do all of that.
Yeah.
Women still do, except here it goes. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Now that's
Yeah.
gonna
I'm ready.
that's
Go
gonna
ahead.
trigger some people, but that's the reality. That's my world every day.
Okay.
Is now since we decided that women are better than housewives and mothers, women still want men to be traditional, but women in our culture either don't want to or completely refuse to be traditional women.
Okay.
So men are like, what am I going to do with you? Like, what am I? If I want kids. You don't want kids. Okay, next. I want a wife. You don't want married because you think it's slavery. Okay, man. So what happened is women still want men to do the traditional stuff, but they refuse to be traditional women, and
Mm.
men won't have it. They just won't have it. if
Yeah.
it's traditional man. Now the boys love that stuff. The boys will take advantage. The boys will make her pay. The boys will go 50-50. The boys will get her pregnant and not take care of the kids. Like the boys, so there's 30% of the population that are boys.
Yeah.
And most angry women have been dealing with boys, and they think that's men. That's not
Yeah.
men. The
Yeah.
real men expect you to be traditional because they want traditional lives. And
Hmm.
traditional lives mean
Yeah.
I want my wife to produce a couple of kids of mine, and that's my legacy, and
Yeah.
I'll kill myself to take care of her.
Right.
I'm
Hey.
just saying. So that's the big problem. This is what I see. That's the derailment. Is
Yeah.
men expected to be traditional, and women don't want to be
Right.
traditional, and the traditional men go, okay, next, and they go to Ukraine, they go
Yeah.
to Asia, they go to the Philippines to find women who are traditional. I mean, it's
Andre,
crazy. Yes,
Andre, before we finish, right?
sir.
That's the
Yes, sir.
last question I'd like to ask you.
Yes,
You're a minister, right?
yes.
Tell us about your ministerial you know
My ministry.
experience. Yeah,
So
your ministry.
I'm a minister for the sake of putting marrying people together. So
Yeah.
I don't have a minister. I'm not a minister with a ministry that I preach at.
Okay.
My preaching is my coaching business, right?
Okay.
My helping men and women come together. But I had to join a ministry to get the license
Okay.
to be able to marry people.
Okay.
You see what I
Yeah, I
mean?
got you. I got
So
you. I
actually, that's a good point because I think my ministry is literally my work. Like,
understand. I love that.
I mean, I help them come together. I help them understand the dance. I help them understand nature. I help them recalibrate them into a place of the
Yeah.
sweet spot, right? The sweet spot between the dance, really the
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
How do you dance to make it last 35
Yeah.
years, right? You have to learn that, right? You have to learn that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like just like if you ever seen ballroom dancers dance, it's
Oh
incredible,
yeah. Yeah.
right? But you know how much practice went into that? You know how much work went into that, right? They had to like
Yeah.
step on each other's toes. They had to bang their knees together. I got the elbow to the face a dozen time, in one rehearsal because we have to learn how to work together, right? And
Yeah.
then
Of
the
course.
give and take,
Yeah.
and how do you come two pieces coming together for the dance, two pieces coming together for the relationship that has to be taught.
Yeah.
Ballroom dancers, when they have that beautiful glide, have been working on this for years.
Yeah.
But in relationships, we think we should just be able to do it. Well, not with the cultural pace, not with the reverse of roles, not with equality in your face,
Yeah.
and not with everybody trying to control everything. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
sweet spot is there's a modern way to do a classical dance. That's what I'm teaching.
I love that. I love that. I love
Oof.
that. And I would end there, Andre. Right,
Sure.
nice to have you on Canute Exploration. You're a top in the podcast. Thank you,
Thank you.
Andre.
I
Okay.
have a gift for your listeners if you mind, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready? Do we have time?
Yeah.
All right. So just I do a lot of podcasting because my mission in this life is to teach this to the masses.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
Oprah big, like teaching to the masses. So
Yeah.
that's my mission of my big God calling. So I do a
Mhm.
lot of podcasting. I send the waves out. I send the
Right.
waves
Yeah.
out. I send the message like, there's a way to do this. There's a way to do this. It's not hopeless. There's a way to do this. That so I inspire people and then get them to come and you know
Right.
tap in. But so when I in the podcast world, because like I said, I do like a lot of them.
Right. Uh-huh.
I notice there's two types of listeners. So there's one type of listeners who listen because they want some information.
Right.
They're curious about the
All right.
relationship. Right. Sorry, one second, right here. They're curious about man relationship. They don't understand. They're confused, right? So, but they're not like they're just curious. They want some information.
Right.
So, This is my gift for those people. So,
Okay.
if you're a person, a lady, a man who wants like information, you could email me directly. This is my direct email. It's Andre Coaching the number one at Gmail. Andre Coaching one at gmail.com.
Okay.
And in the subject matter, if you write irresistible book, this is what I was talking to you about earlier. This is my
Mhm.
workbook,
Mhm.
the 5 feminine qualities high value men find absolutely irresistible. I will get it to you for free. Just send me an email with irresistible, and my team will get it to you. That's one. So that's first gift for people who want information. If the other type of person that I notice are people who like want to take action, they want to do something, they want to step in, they want to go, like teach me something. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if your listeners are the number two type, Andre Coaching one at gmail.com, my email, and in the subject box, just write talk now. Well,
Mhm.
talk now means you want to talk to me. And those are the people that are a little more brave, but they want to take action. They want to know how to step in. right? So what happens? I'll send you a link, a Zoom link, and you will book yourself time and place that works for you on your calendar, and set up a VIP call. I call it, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
have an hour conversation about what's not working for you, where you stuck, and what's the dream. And I'm really good at this. So
Mm-hmm.
on that call, we'll explore. We talked about this earlier. This as a therapist, as
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a psychologist, um, that we're at the effect of our childhood. No one gets out of childhood unscathed. So I cannot get anybody in a healthy relationship until we take off the baggage of your past, your childhood, and the horrible relationship you had before. So in that call, in 20 minutes, we get to find out where the wheels came off on you as a child, where you made those decisions that you can't trust, or you're not good enough, or you're not lovable, and that kind of stuff. And so that call alone, I'm saying that call alone for some people is extremely liberating and life changing, because you figure out that there's nothing wrong with you. You're a result of your past. You know your challenges are due to your past, not because there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so what's the dream? What's the dream? If you can't understand, you don't understand man, so then we'll talk about the
Yeah.
different ways to work with me. But that call alone, that says for some people to change their lives, whether
Yeah.
we work together or not. So that's my
Great.
gift.
All right. Thanks for that. I'm sure my audience will benefit from that. Thank you,
I
Andre.
hope so. Thank
Talk.
you.
Bye bye. Nice. So that was Andre. He talked a lot about relationship and the challenges that relationship may go through. Talked about masculinity and this aspect of independence as it relates to women, equality, and how that can kill intimacy. Very interesting. And on in the description you will find his website. You can go on, and his email he has a gift for you. You heard it right, Andre, coaching1@gmail.com. Give him a shout out now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Canute Exploration.